The views and opinions expressed on Real Talk with Horace Sheffield are not those of WADL TV 38 or Adele Broadcasting Corporation.
Giving you real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Real issues straight from the heart, Giving you real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk.
Well, welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm Reverend Horace Sheffield III. Of course, this is WADL TV Detroit. We've got a great show talking about educational excellence and some options for your students as parents and some options for you as students. We know a lot of students make their own decisions about where to go. We have with us former Deputy Superintendent of Detroit Public Schools, now the principal of Detroit Cares Alternative High School, Ms. Sharon, and of course Horace L. Sheffield IV, who is involved in the radio and television program there, as well as student information. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Why don't we start from the top, and if you had some, brief way of describing Detroit Cares that would help the listeners understand what makes it unique and different, what would it be?
Detroit Cares is just that. It's an area in which we will cultivate character, college, career readiness for our young people. We have an 11-month school. It will house grades 9 through 12, and it will be a school of 3 schools. The first school, of course, is a comprehensive high school for students directly out of middle school that could elect to go to any setting. But they require, or they wish to have, a small, intimate setting. And we will have also a school of alternative learners, a fast-track transition academy for students that wish to accelerate their high school graduation. Those students are students that may be a bit behind, but they will be able to move to the quarter system and acquire credits in a more rapid fashion, accelerating their high school graduation. We also know that some students cannot make it to the traditional setting or have found the traditional setting not to be their learning style. And so we will have an online high school completion program for those young people that can study in a different setting, complete high school course credits, and then move towards their accomplishments of
So I want to just restate, so you have 3 basic tracks.
That's correct.
In one high school. The first one, of course, is a traditional high school. I mean, for kids who plan to go to college, they need the enrichment or enhanced academic enrichment and all the rigors of college preparation. There's another one, of course, for kids who have missed some school or fallen behind, and you can accomplish twice as many credits in the same period of time by having an acceleration program, right?
That's correct. And running through the thread of all 3 academies on one campus will be that rigorous experience where we develop those competencies in the area of reading, writing, mathematics, and numeracy, as well as in the habits of mind, being able to critically think, to analyze, to synthesize materials.
Sure.
Those habits of collaboration where they learn how to network, how they learn how to communicate, to organize their work studies.
And the online part, we have kids who've taken courses that have failed them, and you can certainly recover those credits. I read most recently where the state of Michigan is now considering even relaxing the requirements for actual classroom instruction. So we're almost to the point in Michigan where kids can complete high school completely online.
That's correct. And we are not for relaxing requirements, but we are for scaffolding.
Yeah, let me just clear that up. I'm saying that the state of Michigan has had this classroom instruction requirement where there's a minimum number of credits you had to take in a classroom in front of a teacher.
That's right.
Now they're at the point where the latest consideration is allowing students to finish or complete high school completely online.
That's absolutely correct. Previously, there was a definition of seat time.
Right.
The amount of time that a student had to fill a seat. And now the focus is on outcomes, on competencies, on proficiencies, and that may or may not require seat time.
Sure.
That competency may be built by a job shadowing experience, or by a co-op experience, or a research experience. And so that definition of seat time requirement is being
Let's take a moment and give out the phone number. I'm certainly open for registration and enrollment. Anyone who's listening right now, the whole show will talk about all the features of the school, but if you're already interested, you can dial now. What's that phone number?
The phone number is area code 313 965
935
935
3950. 313-935-3950. Just real quick before we get to Horace, and that is, what is the advantage of doing stuff online? Is that for kids who, may have to work, or their life experience is a little bit different?
There may be a number of different reasons that would restrict your attending. You may have an obligation with a child or siblings. You may have a health problem that would restrict your attendance. You may be yourself caring for a parent or a grandparent. So there are a number of reasons that would restrict that.
I've got to come back, when I come back, talk to this young man who's been involved, and from a young perspective, what he's seen at the school, why this would be an attractive place to attend. We'll be right back after this.
Real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is
Welcome back. I'm Reverend Horace Sheffield III. Of course, this is Real Talk here at WADL TV Detroit, and we've got Ms. Sharon Appling, who's the principal of Detroit Cares Alternative High School. Young man, know a lot about Horace Sheffield IV, who's been working at the school now for about 2 or 3 years. And Horace, you're there. You're not that far removed from high school. You see the kind of students that are at the high school. What do you say is a feature of that school that would, warrant someone sending their child or wanting to come themselves?
Well, before I start there, let me read a couple sentences off of this project that I was working on, and it directly ties into Detroit Cares.
Okay.
Martin Luther King Jr. said an individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. And in African-American societies, this statement is a paradigm. Rising above personal concerns, becoming a sacrificial lamb for our communities is not only needed, but is mandatory for the continued fight of our ancestors and the future prosperity of the Black nation. Knowledge of the past brings understanding of the present, enabling change for the future. The legacy, the fight, the struggle continues through the generations, but the question remains, are you adding to the problem or being a part of the solution? Detroit Cares is a part of the solution. It's giving back to kids that really don't have a figure to look up to. All they have is negative vibes and negative, forces that's pulling them down. So when they come to school, it's natural for them to act up and show out because that's all they know. But through time, if you notice, you start to see them turn around. People start helping out more. Kids stop cussing as much, and so it's just the positive influence that's really needed.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that Detroit Cares changes the lives of these kids?
Yeah, definitely. And if it doesn't, it's people in the school that set an example that shows that it's possible to change. So if it doesn't, it sparks the brain to change.
Well, you've written, in fact, the jingle for opening on this program and close, Real Talk. That's his voice when you see our show every week. That's Horace's music. He's written many songs. We're loving not leaving Detroit. We've got these major campaigns. I believe in Detroit. Well, I live in Detroit, but you've done that kind of stuff. You're working now with the audio visual, the radio and TV program you're going to build into school. Tell us what that's going to be about.
Detroit Cares Radio Network will do a variety of things. One thing we'll be able to bring the students into a studio, show them something different instead of everything that they see on a daily basis. It also enables them to be able to keep up with their homework and be able to broadcast and have their own personalities and and try, you know, to expand their mind in different ways. And then it will also have regular programming, which will be you know, local people trying to get in,
So the
make
kids
a
actually
change.
know how to produce and
Yeah,
do
they'll
their
learn
own shows. And stuff.
Yeah, they can learn how to produce, do their own shows, and really learn media and
Right.
you know, how to get it off the ground.
And Ms. Abner, that fits in with the vocational, occupational part of Detroit Cares. You have some wonderful programs there
correct.
for kids to get jobs straight out of high school.
That's correct, Reverend Sheffield. We have found, as Horace has said, that many children do not have opportunities to go other places and develop career technical skills. And so on campus, everything that Horace has described will be held, and all classes and opportunities will be coordinated through the facilities right there on site.
Yep.
In addition, we will have cosmetology, we will have building trades with the green alternatives, we will have available to the students hospitality, tourism, and we will have for the young people an opportunity to explore computer careers and technology.
Sure.
We will have an allied health program and a medical coding program, so that when our young people go to college, they will have earnings that they can fall back on.
Sure.
Each child will have an opportunity to graduate with not only their high school diploma, but we will have on campus classes from our local community colleges so that they can earn that high school diploma and that associate degree and graduate in 4 years with that
Sure.
extra
And when you talk about
burst.
cosmetology now, you know, there's so many schools around the Detroit area. It's not inexpensive. You have to take out student loans for that. But at Detroit Cares, a state licensed program, kids can start in the 9th grade and in the 12th grade graduate as a licensed cosmetologist and not pay for it.
As a licensed cosmetologist.
Right.
And they will have their state license. They will be able to go to any shop. They will be able to start their own business. They will be able to do hair on campus. What a wonderful opportunity, especially in our current economic status.
Of course, you know anything about the basketball team. I understand that the high school team was third in the state last year in the alternative league, first year in operation. What's your take on the athletic program?
I think it's wonderful. I think I'm gonna go first next year, but besides that, it teaches you know, teamwork. One thing which is really hard for youth to do, and which I've noticed, is get along. As many problems as we have combined, our own problems. When you get on the court, I think that goes away for a while, and then you have to work collectively toward a goal, which is always a good learning item, you know.
Sure. Well, there's so many activities at Detroit Cares. There's additional money, I understand, for all kinds of intervention programs. Why don't you just kind of run down? And by the way, let's give out the number again so we can help you out. 313-935-3950. 313-935-3950. It's a school of compassion, college preparation, career preparation, and character building. Is that correct?
That's absolutely accurate. In addition, if we would welcome visitors coming by the office between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. at 8100 West Davison, there between Livernois and Wyoming, and come in and meet and greet the staff and sign up for a wonderful educational experience, a wraparound experience.
Sure. And you, by the way, open to non-Detroit residents as well. Wayne, anyone from the metropolitan Detroit area can
That's correct.
enroll.
Anyone from the metropolitan Detroit area.
Now you have ROTC. Tell us all the wonderful things. I mean, you know, when you
We
think about
have
alternative high school, you think generally about GED preparation and kids who, you know, have all kind of learning disabilities. But I understand that 29 out of 32 of your seniors graduated. Understand there were only 3 schools in the state of Michigan in comparable category that tested higher than this school.
Sure. We will have, of course, the intervention services, wraparound services for our young people. We will have transportation. We will have a food service program. We will expand our athletic competition to girls and boys basketball, as well as cross country and
that's
track
something
and
you're
field.
interested in. Me. Ms. Appling ran the Detroit Public Schools leagues, all of those leagues, and actually did a phenomenal job. And is that your nephew that's up at Michigan State or your cousin?
It is a grandnephew.
A grandnephew. Yes. So she's got a lot of interest in the athletics. I saw you smile when you started talking about the athletic programs.
Yes.
But there's also violence prevention, substance abuse prevention.
That is absolutely correct. We have a counseling program. We will have a full-time social worker on staff. We will have for young people an opportunity to job shadow. We will have an opportunity for young people to develop a relationship on campus with young people before going to college. And we will have an 11-month program, so it'll be a program in which children will be able to go to school and go on the quarters so that they will earn credits every 10 weeks towards high school graduation. Sure. So if they have a particular need to graduate early, to accelerate, or to explore new or unusual programs. We are very excited about the ROTC program. It will be a naval ROTC program, and they will have an opportunity to partner with the Navy, to take on responsibilities in the Navy, and to actually serve.
Let me ask Horace one quick question. We've got to take a break. Horace, you mentioned something very important which speaks to the safety of the school. You've been around for 3 years. Kids come there, they're crazy, they're gang-related. What happens in that year, time or less, that transforms the way they behave?
They learn, because it's forced learning. They just have to deal with their peers, and they have to put aside their differences, and they have to get along. I mean, that's a lesson that you got to learn in life regardless. Right. So, and through the 3 years I've been around, it's all kind of different gangs, as you mentioned, all kind of different neighborhoods, but there's minimal fighting, and there's never been a serious act of violence. So that's
pretty phenomenal.
That's pretty phenomenal to say.
All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk a bit more about Detroit Cares, and thanks for watching. Be right back.
Real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, Detroit. This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, Detroit.
Welcome back. I'm Reverend Horace Sheffield III. I'm pleased and privileged to have Miss Solomon with us. She's been here in the studio, and certainly glad to have her join as we ask some more questions about Detroit Cares. Recently, Miss Appling, you had the occasion to go to Boston for Jobs for the Future, which is a Bill and Melinda Gates funded project that works with the University College Park School that is in one of the worst areas of America. Poor children, underperforming, who leave and 100% graduate, 98% go to college, and just phenomenal success. And Detroit Cares, of course, is working with the entity that actually helped put that school together to infuse in this local school comparable results. I think it's an amazing feat. Tell us more about that.
What an absolutely exciting experience it was to see young people sitting in groups discussing Hamlet and modeling different philosophies and building geometric models within the classroom.
And these are
working
poor
in
kids.
Collaborative groups.
I mean, by the way, you know, one of the things, I happened to go on the trip that was absolutely baffling for all of us. We just could not believe that these were poor kids. I mean, and when you scratch the surface, you find out that these are actually, some of the kids, English is a second language.
That's correct.
And so what I'm excited about, it proves it with the right pedagogical approach and the right model and the common instructional framework, with these teachers collaborating from every subject with one child, that kids can learn and achieve well.
That's right. Poor students in a rich environment can grow and learn.
Say that again.
Poor students in a
what?
rich educational environment can grow and learn.
Yeah.
And they can compete. This is a campus of high school students on a college campus, and there is a collaboration between the students in the high school and the students in the college. And it is a seamless transition for those young people as they learn rigor, as they learn the content, as they learn how do you maneuver in this environment. How do I go to my advisor? How do I meet other students? How do I scaffold learning for myself?
Yeah, and what was interesting with having Ms. Solomon chime in is they work in groups so that they teach these kids early on that individual achievement is not as important as common achievement. So the kids who do well actually help the ones who are struggling come up to pace.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And to see the coherence in the instructional framework was very exciting for us because, of course, we had many of these components built into Detroit Cares Academy. But this gives us a common language in which we can discuss our student achievement.
Sure.
Now, the College Park High School in Boston is actually a 7-12 environment.
Yeah.
So students come in 7th grade and they
have more time to bring them up to speed.
They have more time.
Yeah.
So we have accelerated that model
Right.
because we're receiving students at 9th grade.
Right.
So if you want to see a tremendous transition in children, come by the Detroit Cares Academy.
313-935-3950. Ms. Solomon?
Ms. Appling, I have to congratulate you on your new position as principal at Detroit Cares.
Thank you.
I've been able to join the school on a few occasions, and just seeing your interaction with staff and students has been tremendous. I want to understand and share with our viewers more about the staff. I know that you spent a large part of the summer looking at the new framework, and like you said, being able to put together a team that's going to couple with the strength of the students and their progress. And so can you share with us what your staff looks like?
Thank you so very much. We know that it is truly the teacher that is the #1 tool to maturing and cultivating and creating a college-going atmosphere in the school. And so we have been blessed to look at candidates and to interview candidates and to share philosophies and to actually see if this is a job for teachers, if it is a career for teachers, or if it, as we hope, is a ministry. We know that working with our young people, creating a climate that is custom-made to their learning style, so that all of us are aimed at getting those college degrees for our young people and preparing them not just to graduate, not just to get into college, but to gain a degree and then to come back and be a contributor in our society. So looking at master teachers that have that gleam in their eye when we describe what we have at Detroit Cares is what we have spent the summer discovering. And we have a collection of highly qualified, loving, caring adults.
Absolutely. And that's what I've seen when visiting the school.
Thank you.
I love your engagement with the community. I find that is something that's oftentimes missing in a school setting, and it's something that Detroit Cares has fully embraced. Your involvement with smaller nonprofits. I know that you had an open house, but you also embodied that day with Arise Detroit. I know when presented with the opportunity to even partner on an outing, a school outing with the Charles Wright Museum, your group actively participated, and you had students that took tours of the museum and learned about just what the museum had to offer. So. Sure. What do you see coming up in the future as far as this upcoming school year, as far as some of the community engagement that could be possible at Detroit Cares that students would have to look forward to?
We have a wonderful relationship with the Detroit Association of Black Organizations.
Yes.
And the wonderful partnerships that they provide, the opportunities for our students to go out and to look at life as a laboratory and to apply all of those textbook skills is an experience that's unique because we have wonderful relationship, for example, with Kroger's that provides incentive programs for our young people. We have within our building DTE, and they will offer support not only to the children, but to their families. We have an opportunity to have a parent university where we will actually look at educating children from conception through their high school and college, because we're going to work with parents. Some of our children are parenting, and so we will talk about reading, we will talk about talking to your child, we'll talk about the importance of controlling obesity and dealing with historic issues like diabetes in the family.
I understand in DMC, and I think Ms. Solomon knows a little bit about it, has also been involved with the school with the athletic programs and other things. Sounds like a great school. We don't have a lot of time. The number again is 313-935-3950, open enrollment. If there's one thing that you would tell people listening right now that you would say is the main reason they ought to enroll their child or they ought to come themselves, what would it be?
If they are looking for a personalized, caring, loving, nurturing atmosphere that will ready their child, that will transition their child from where they are to where they will be leaders in our global society, Detroit Cares Academy is the place for them.
313-935-3950, Detroit Cares Alternative High School Academy is the place you ought to be. We'll be back next week with more information that works for you, that you need to know to live better and to work harder. We'll be back next week.
Real issues straight from the heart. I'm giving you real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit. This is real talk. Real issues straight from the heart. I'm giving you real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit. This is real talk. This is real talk. Uncut for the people of Detroit who got an opinion that they want to voice. I'ma give them real talk. Real issues, real topics, real people address.